I've been working at Meridian Financial Services for 4 years when my boss, Gregory Ashworth, said the words that would eventually ruin him. We were in his corner office on the 32nd floor, and I just told him I was declining to work the holiday weekend because my daughter had her first dance recital. You don't get to decline anything, Nora, he said. When you signed your employment contract, you agreed to be available whenever I need you. I literally own you. Standing in Gregory's office after he claimed, I literally own you, I felt a sudden clarity. I repeated, you own me, knowing he believed he controlled my time, expertise, and productive capacity through the contract. I immediately decided, if he claimed ownership, I would make him prove it in court. That night, I read my 73-page employment contract for the first time. The restrictive fine print, which I'd signed out of desperation 4 years earlier, made my hands shake. The employment contract was heavily restrictive. Clause 14.7, IP, all intellectual property, creative work, or innovation produced belonged exclusively to the company in perpetuity. Clause 22.3, availability, I had to be available for work at any time, day, night, weekends, and holidays. Clause 31.9, outside work, I required written permission before accepting any outside employment or starting a business. There were 47 other clauses, each one more restrictive than the last. The contract didn't just employ me. It owned significant portions of my life, my time, and my creative output. But here's what Gregory hadn't considered when he'd smiled at me in his office. If he truly owned me under this contract, then he was responsible for me. All of me. I spent 3 days researching employment law and unconscionable contracts. I then met with Patricia Ownway, a sharp labor disputes attorney. I showed her my contract and explained Gregory's I literally own you comment. She read the document silently for 20 minutes. When she finally looked up, her smile was a mix of nervous excitement, signaling we had a powerful case. This contract is absolutely insane, she said. Half of these clauses wouldn't hold up in court for 5 minutes. But if your boss genuinely believes he owns you based on this document, we can use that. Patricia explained her strategy over the next hour. If he owned me, then I was effectively company property. And property requires maintenance, insurance, proper care, and compensation for depreciation. If I was his property under this employment contract, then he had responsibilities he'd never considered. She agreed to take my case on contingency, meaning she'd only get paid if we won, which told me she was confident. We spent the next 2 weeks building our case. Patricia had me document everything. Every email Gregory sent after hours. Every weekend he called me. Every vacation day I'd missed because of his demands. Every time I'd worked through illness. Every instance where he'd critiqued my appearance. By the time we were finished, I had a file 3 inches thick documenting 4 years of Gregory treating me exactly like property he owned. Following my boss Gregory's declaration, I literally own you, my attorney Patricia Ownway initiated the property law strategy. I stopped reporting for work. Patricia formally notified Meridian Financial Services that, based on Gregory's explicit statement, I was now corporate property. As company property, I required proper maintenance, needed to be transported to and from work, and returned to storage at day's end. The company was given a deadline to either make these arrangements or release me from the ownership clause. Gregory called my cell 37 times. I ignored him. My attorney, Patricia, sent Meridian's legal team a letter itemizing my property maintenance costs, totaling about $300,000 annually. This included housing, food, healthcare for the stress of being owned, and a depreciation schedule. Predictably, Meridian's lawyers swiftly responded. They claimed the contract didn't literally mean ownership and demanded my immediate return to work, threatening termination. But what happened next changed everything.